Hello, Heartlifter. Welcome. I'm Janell, and welcome to the Breathing Room. This is a special space that I created for my own heart in my own life, but also I've created it for my clients in my private practice, the Heartlift practice, and I've created it for you. This space is a place where I create, I curate, I listen, I record, I do all the things to bring you heart-lifting resources that will make your life better. And in doing that, it makes everyone in your sphere of influence better as well. In the Stronger Everyday community, we believe in the threefold cord of emotional health and spiritual fortitude, as I like to call it, which leads us to spiritual authenticity, spiritual formation, and spiritual maturity. I truly believe that when we possess a healthy sense of self, which in some circles they call that self-worth, I call it your God-breathed identity. When you possess healthy behavior patterns, and when you possess and move through life with healthy communication skills, life is better. It's more meaningful. It really speaks to that abundant life that Christ promises us in that beautiful chapter in the Gospel of John, John 10. In 1989, a movie came out called A Field of Dreams. And actor Kevin Costner played an Iowa farmer whose name was Ray Kinsella. And he was inspired by a voice that he couldn't ignore to pursue a dream that he could hardly believe could come true. And he turned an ordinary Iowa cornfield into a place where that dream could come true. And the voice that he heard was, you're probably familiar with it, build it and they will come. Build it and they will come. I too, much like Ray Kinsella, have heard a voice, and I believe it to be true as the voice of God. It's a whisper. It's not audible. But late 2018, I heard a voice to start a podcast. At the time, I called it Speak Healing Words. That was a big part of my passion and my purpose was to help men and women speak healing words to themselves, to God, and to everyone in their spheres of influence. That evolved from my book at the time, Overcoming Hurtful Words, and then it evolved into my passion that I'm going to probably stand on for the rest of my life, today's Heartlift with Janell. A Heartlift is something that we're all striving to create in our lives. We're hoping to be heart-lifting people who are safe people who can welcome in everyone and they can feel at home in our presence. It's very, very important to me. So this podcast, today's Heartlift with Janell, is a result of that voice that I heard to build it and they will come. Listeners will come, Janell. And they are coming. And I can't believe it. I should believe it. But I am just so overwhelmed with joy. This month alone, from March 28th to April 28th, this month alone, we've had over 5,000 listeners. That's a lot of listeners. And it speaks to me, and I hope it speaks to you, because today I need to ask you to come join this marvelous, joyful process that's happening of exponential growth. Me as just one person, I can see a certain amount of clients a day, a certain amount of clients a week. But another reason I started this podcast, and I'm just speaking from my heart here, was to have an overflow of information and tools and resources and knowledge and wisdom available to my own clients in between their sessions. Because when you are going through emotional healing, especially in the realm of trauma, which is a huge part of the work that I do now, that in between time between sessions can be long and hard. So initially I started this podcast so that my clients would have something to turn to. They would be able to hear my voice of wisdom and guidance in between their sessions. And now it's just grown beyond that, where they've told their family, their friends, and others, and now others are listening from all over the world. And so I can see a certain amount of people, but with a podcast, we can exponentially offer wisdom and resources and guidance and books and so much more, because I'm multiplying, right? It's that principle of multiplication where one can bring so much. But boy, when we bring the voices of others to this podcast and then it exponentially grows, we are actually expanding our reach. We're expanding our reach. And so I'm just inviting you to join me today. I thought long and hard about this because honestly, I do not receive well. I don't like to ask for help. So this is a big deal. But I want you to join this. I want you to partake in the joy that I'm experiencing. That when I see more and more people are getting help, I want to have someone to share this with, because I just have kind of my own little party. But I want to be able to share it with you and give you a piece of receiving the blessings yourself. The Bible says, when we sow, we reap. When we sow, we reap. When you cast the bread upon the waters, it comes back to you. And so I just want to be able to have at least a monthly celebration with you and a time of going, wow, look what God's doing. I just think that would be so much fun. So the Irish poet David Whyte, let me read this beautiful piece of poetry. It's actually just a sentence from a piece of his called The Winter of Listening. And it's such a beautiful piece. And there's this sentence in the middle of it that says, inside everyone is a great shout of joy waiting to be born. That is the entire premise of today's Heartlift with Janell, of why I do what I do and why I'm now asking you to come help and participate by financially supporting the podcast. It is not an inexpensive endeavor because I want to publish high quality, really exciting listening for those out there. It's a competitive marketplace as well. I think there's over 750,000 podcasts, so it's just crazy. So I'm just inviting you to come into my little circle, in my circle of trust. And there are different tiers that you can join in, $5, $25, $10, and then you can just offer whatever you want. And so you can read all about that here on the platform. I don't want to take the time to go through each and every one of those, but I'm just inviting you in. There is no small offering. They're all a blessing. Let's do this. Let's build a podcast. Let's build a platform of information and wisdom and guidance and voices that will enable men and women to come home to themselves and be whole. Because I truly believe that we're changing the world one heart lift at a time. One woman who's whole, one man who's whole at a time. Because that will bring heart lifting to a family, and then that family will be on a foundation of success. That's the whole reason we're doing this. So thank you in advance. Thank you for helping me allow great shouts of joy to come out from the hearts of men and women worldwide. Let's see what God can do. Thank you in advance.